Welcome back. This is video number 3. And now that you understand the buyer keyword intent, it's time to go ahead and get some keywords. And we'll talk about understanding LSI as well, so that when you begin to look for keywords, you can look for similar keywords, which is basically what LSI is all about. So LSI stands for latent semantic indexing. It's just another fancy name of similar keywords. So what I want to do before we go out and search for keywords is to give you some examples of LSI. So as you know, Google sends out a robot or a computer that tries to read and understand what is on your page. So if you understand this concept and you can help Google out, then most likely it'll categorize you in the right area. So for example, Google has a way to know if the keywords you're using actually relate to each other. So they can see if one keyword is relational to another keyword, or if you're keyword spamming, or you're trying to game the system. So that's why if you really look through this, you realize that it really comes down to not just using the right keywords, but really appealing to a human being. If you appeal to the human being, then you will appeal to Google in the long term, because essentially what you're doing is you're providing quality, right? So what you're trying to do is you're trying to help Google paint a picture of what you're talking about. And that's what their robot is designed to do. So let's just take an example here. Everybody has, lives in an apartment or house or somewhere. So let's talk about roofs. Imagine writing an article about roof repair. So if you use the word, say for example, shingle, nails, a specific type of shingle, maybe a metal shingle, we could talk about gutters. Google knows at that point that the word shingle, the word nail, and the word roof and the repair, Google knows that you're talking about roof repair because they have a massive dictionary of words that they're able to see the relationships between each word. So in that case, Google knows what you're talking about. And if you just try to keyword spam it like roof repair, roof repair, roof repair, Google's going to know that as well. And they're going to know that you're trying to game the system. And that's really not going to be appealing as much to a real live human being. Another thing that we're not really going to go into too much about, but if you can get a human being to stay on your website for a long period of time, and in other words, engage with your content, then you're going to get a higher ranking with Google. So what we call that being a higher stick rate, a higher engagement rate, can actually help you out as well. So actually you'll see nowadays that the longer your content, the better. Or if you create a video, videos actually create a higher stick rate and higher engagement rate as well. So with that said, now let's go ahead and find some keywords. So going back to video number 2, if you really think about the intent of the keyword in relation to the content on your website, at this point in time, I generally speaking will use 2 websites. Now, number 1, if I try to figure out, okay, the buyer is in the researching phase or in the comparison phase, or maybe they don't even really know what they're looking for, Google is a great resource to start with. And then as far as the buyer, actual marketplaces are really good places to find buyer keywords. So for example, Amazon would be a good place to go. Now, you'll realize in just a minute that I'm not really using any keyword tool. What I'm using is what we call the suggested keywords. Now, in order for the suggested keywords to show up in Google or Amazon, that means that there must be a high volume of people searching for it. So if you go to Google, for example, you know how you type in a keyword, let's say, for example, how to repair a roof. And when you do that, you can see that Google gives you a list of suggestions. So we can see how to repair a roof, leak, leak around a vent, or roof truss. Now, we know off the bat that these are highly searched. Now, if they're any relation to your business, then these are great words to use. Now, let's say, for example, how to repair a roof leak. At this point in time, if you scroll all the way down to the bottom, you'll also see other related searches. So how to repair a roof leak yourself from the inside around a vent on a mobile home, how to repair a roof leak on a camper from the inside, the costs, and flat roof leak repair. So if you're finding that, okay, this one actually relates to my product or service, and you click on it, you can jot those keywords down. Do the same thing. You can take a look at these keywords, and these are showing the suggested keyword that you want. So what you can do is you can simply highlight these like so, and simply copy these, the text, and paste that into your notepad. Now, there are tons and tons and tons of other keywords, but these are great keywords to start out with. Now, generally speaking, what I like to do is I like to use these as article titles. Now, if you dig a lot deeper and you look at particular articles that are surrounding these particular titles, or if you take these long tail keywords or long phrase keywords and you put them into your favorite keyword tool, whether that be Google Planner or another keyword tool, that keyword tool will, generally speaking, will give you a larger list of keywords that are related. And those are what we call LSI keywords, or latent semantic keywords, or keywords that are actually related to the direct main keyword. So again, if I'm doing any type of keyword researching and I'm looking for somebody who is researching or they're comparison shopping, I'll type that in here. I'll look at these. I'll pick and choose from these, create these as titles, and then I'll plug these into something like Google Keyword Planner. And then I'll get a list of detailed keywords and use those lists of keywords. You don't have to use all of them, but use some of them inside of your article content, whether that be your written content or your video content. Now, a really great way to get rankings is using the same method that I showed you here. Title, and then a list of keywords from Google Keyword Planner or your favorite keyword tool, and then write the article and then make a video about it and then upload it to YouTube. But in addition to that, upload the transcript or get somebody to transcribe it and upload it as well. And then that way YouTube knows that your video has latent semantic indexing keywords inside of it or related keywords inside of it. And that will actually boost your ranking as well. So that's what I do when I try to find keywords for the basic researching and comparison. Now, I like to use Amazon when it comes to products that we actually want to sell. Now, obviously, Amazon does not have all of the products and services. You can use something like eBay, and if you don't find anything, you can also use Google as well. But as you know, if you go to Amazon, let's type something in here like roof repair. And right off the bat, Amazon begins to suggest RV roof repair tape, sealant, camper roof repair, and roof repair spray. Now, remember, we actually saw the camper roof repair in Google as well. So if we take a look at here, this gives us some ideas about what keywords people are using. You can even look at the ratings, the negatives and the positives, and see what kind of language people who buy this actually use, so that you can use those same terminology and language to speak to them. Because otherwise, if you don't speak their language, they'll feel like, wait a minute, you're not really, maybe are you legitimate? So you really want to make sure that you speak their language, speak to them and their needs. And what better way to do that than using Amazon.com or paid marketplaces?